All right, I hope everyone had a nice lunch and a nice break, and I hope people at the jail had a chance to eat. Brenna, the court reporter Heidi Smith is back, so she still wants to do this crazy career, which is great. And my student from UTSA is back, so. All right, we're gonna, before we take the plea on Lewis and Rebecca, that's gonna be for probation. Brandon Lopez, who are you here for?
Judge, I'm actually trying to confer with an ADA about getting a bond set.
All right, who's the client?
It's off docket, but I can give you, I don't know if that's allowed, but I can give you a SID.
Yeah, well, can you give me a case number or something?
Case number 2020 CR 11706.
Yes, we do a lot of things off docket. So anybody who wants to zoom in, but I always tell people if you're off docket and we're super busy, just be extra patient. Is it criminal trial division or family violence?
It's a criminal trial, and I think Joe Ray just responded to me on one.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And then we have Joseph Acevedo back for his client. And is that a client that's in the courtroom, and is the paperwork ready on that one? Joseph Acevedo, who is your client?
Mr. Small, SMALO.
All right, and so Norma, on that one, do you know what paperwork they need?
No, ma'am. What paperwork they need?
He's going to be pleading on a motion. I believe it's a motion to revoke. Is that correct, Mr. Acevedo?
Yes, a plea of true and continue and alter and amend conditions.
So he just needs the consent to appear by video.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, and is Mr. Small in the courtroom?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, she is.
All right, so as soon as Mr. Acevedo, as soon as you get that paperwork from Ms. Ferguson, if you could go to breakout room number 1.
Okay.
All right. And who is on Miss Ward's case?
I am.
Okay.
I'm just going to send you the dismissals now, so because there's a couple, but obviously, if for some reason the plea doesn't go through, I ask that you not sign them.
Okay. No, I always wait and sign those at the very end.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
Sure, you're welcome. All right, the court is going to call 2021 CR 2710, State of Texas versus Marcus Lewis. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Michael Villarreal for the state.
For the defense?
Kimball Barber for the defendant.
And are you Mr. Lewis?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
And from the state, Your Honor.
Any objection from the defense?
None from the defendants, Your Honor.
Mr. Lewis, I'm showing you what's entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Mr. Lewis, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, I'm showing you the acknowledgement of discovery. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Lewis, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor, we waive that.
Are we proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Lewis, I'm going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
What you're charged with in the indictment is assault family second offense. The range of punishment for that third-degree felony is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, The fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Mr. Lewis, has anyone threatened you, forced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Next, I'm showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 10 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. There's no application for deferred adjudication. The state recommends community supervision. They will take into consideration 2021 CR 2709 and CM 091556. There's an affirmative finding of family violence and $100 to an approved family violence center. Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that to be the entirety of the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense is that the plea bargain agreement.
Yes, Your Honor.
State is that the plea bargain agreement.
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm going to show you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. State is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 6 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 150 hours of community service restitution, the BIPP course, and no harmful or injurious contact with Brianna Miller. And that's BREANNA. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offense is charged in the indictment. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence to support the defendant's plea.
Yes, Your Honor. State offers State's Exhibit number 1 and its attachments.
Any objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Lewis, I'm showing you what's entitled Waiving Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. After reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Just that he requests the opportunity to show the court that he can do better and go follow the plea today.
All right, how old are you, Mr. Lewis?
24.
All right, so this is the second family violence case you've had. What are your issues?
I really don't know. Actually, yes, I do know. I've been out of a job and it's causing me and my girl to fight a lot. But I recently came up on a carpenting job, and hopefully us not being around each other and me being on Instagram and social media, it'll help me out.
All right, well, I read the report and it seems like there was this big blow up or fight because she told you one of the children was not your biological child.
No.
What does that mean?
That is not what happened.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, Mr. Lewis. I'm just going by what I've read. These are what are called stipulations. And what I read was the officer was dispatched to the listed location for an assault in progress. Upon my arrival, I contacted the victim. The victim stated that she had an argument with the suspect. You're the suspect. The suspect was upset because she informed him that one of the children did not belong to him. And my understanding from reading this report, there's a 2-year-old and there's a 4-month-old. So here's the thing, Mr. Lewis, if somebody tells you you're not the biological father of a child, if you're angry, you know what you leave? You walk away and you leave, and then you go get an attorney and you get a DNA test, but you don't put your hands on people in anger. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
So on that day, you ruined the day for a 4-month-old and a 2-year-old because according to the victim in this case, they had a doctor's appointment. So instead of doing their doctor's appointment and everybody being calm, they had chaos in their household. And what ended up happening is their mom calling the police. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So we have that time. And then we have a previous one because you're here for assault family second. And the previous one was from County Court 13. Who was the complainant in that case?
It was the same person.
Okay, it seems to me that your relationship is not working out. Your fault, her fault, whoever fault it is, which is it's your fault for putting hands on people in anger. You guys probably should not be together. You understand?
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
So is Child Protective Services involved?
No, ma'am. They were at one point, but we finished the case.
And does the complainant know about this agreement, Mr. Villarreal?
Yes, Your Honor. She asked that the case be dismissed, but she's aware that the state had an obligation to proceed.
All right, you want to talk about this no harm for injurious contact? Because I don't think he should have contact with her until he's done at least some courses with the BIPP course.
Your Honor, the state's agreement was, or recommendation was based on her uncooperativeness, but I understand the court's concern. And so obviously we're going to defer to the court. We understand that that's outside the plea bargain agreement, but it was just a recommendation with the state.
I do believe that they live together, Your Honor.
All right, so I mean, he's gonna have to find another place to live. Mr. Lewis, here's the thing. This is the second time that you've had a criminal case because of your inability to not put your hands on someone in a loving way, right? So I don't know what the issue is in your household. I don't know if it's a fact of you personally don't know how to solve a problem through conversation in a peaceful manner, or is it you both don't know how to act in a peaceful manner? I don't know. But what I do know is your actions become violent, and that's a no-go.
Yes, ma'am.
So do you have somewhere else to live?
Yes, ma'am.
And who will you be living with?
A friend of mine, another carpenter, coworker.
All right, so this is what I'm gonna do. 100, I'm sorry, before I do that, Mr. Lewis, how far did you go in school?
I made it to the 11th grade.
Why didn't you graduate?
I was adopted, and the lady who adopted me, she put me out of her house, and I just stopped going to school.
Why were you put out of the house?
Not sure really. I was kind of a bad, I guess you would say, a bad child, but I mean,
Were you adopted through foster care system?
no, I was adopted as a kid, and it wasn't through foster care.
Okay. All right, so what do you want to do with the rest of your life?
Continue carpeting.
Okay. All right, so this is what the court is going to do. Court has sentenced you to a $1,500 fine that will be probated. 10 years in the prison, suspended for and probated for 6 years. Take in consideration 2021 CR 2709, CM 091556. There's an affirmative finding of family violence, $100 to a approved family violence center, 150 hours community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide the proof that you've obtained the COVID vaccination that includes the booster. Court is not requiring you to do that, but if you do, you'll receive credit. The BIPP course, there's to be no in-person contact with Brianna Miller. So they can talk to each other on the phone, they can text each other, Instagram, or whatever young people do, because I do realize they have young children. But that contact you have with her had better not be abusive. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
And do you understand that you're not to have in-person contact with her? So that means you can't go to her house. You guys are not getting together for Valentine's or any of that. I may reconsider my order after you've done some BIPP courses, but other than that, that's the only contact. You understand?
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
So if you want to send her a Valentine's Day card, you can do that. You just can't drive by and drop flowers off, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Parenting classes, I want a MIC evaluation. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. No unsupervised contact with minors. And Ms. Ward, I'll reconsider that once he's completed the parenting classes.
Yes, Your Honor.
There's to be regular UAs or patch, regular Zoom reporting or in person, random field visits 2 times per month. And if you complete your carpentry trade and get a certificate in that, I'll waive the remaining of your community service hours.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'll also waive the remaining if he completes parenting classes. But you must complete parenting classes no matter what. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Rebecca, is there anything else he needs?
No, ma'am. Is that MIC evaluation in or out of custody?
Out of custody.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful, Mr. Lewis?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, and also because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you want to know the definition of a weapon or ammunition, you need to speak to your attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Lewis, I'm going to tell you what I tell everybody else who has these violence cases. Before you are ready for a relationship, you know what you need to do? You need to go to HEB or Walmart or one of these stores. Right now, I think HEB is having a sale on their orchids. Get an orchid. When you get it from the grocery store, the blooms are all on it, right? It comes into your office, it looks fabulous. And then the blooms fall off. Keep that orchid. Once the blooms fall off, keep it until it blooms again. And if that happens, you just may be ready for a relationship. And I can say this because let me show you this. For Boss's Day, my staff got me this orchid. It was so beautiful. That's been 3 years ago. I'm holding on to it, trying to figure out what part of the office it likes. And I actually have a green thumb. But with orchids, you have to be very gentle with them. Sometimes they don't like it in the sunlight, or if you move them too much, they won't bloom. It requires a lot of patience to get an orchid to bloom again. So just do that. I'm not trying to belittle, family violence or anything, but if you get an orchid and you're able to get it bloomed twice, and trust me, it takes a lot of patience. That will help you be patient in your life, not just in your relationships, but your intimate relationships, but also in your relationships at the job or wherever you may be. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Lewis. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2.
Thank you for giving me another chance.
All right, you're welcome. And Jacqueline, I'm going to send you to number 2 with probation so you can see what she does.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, you may be excused, or either you can go to number 2 with your client. So if you want to go to 2, you can, or you can be excused. All right, Brandon Lopez, you're off docket matter.
Yes, Your Honor. I conferred with Joe Ray Garcia, and he made a recommendation of $5,000 and GPS tracking.
All right, I'm going to put my email address in the chat box. If you include me and the state in that email, and put on it as agreed order and send me the order, I'll sign it.
I will do that, Judge.
Okay. Brendan, here's a funny story. And I should have had Brenda take it down for the record. I put my email address in the chat box one time. And I always tell people, everybody, put your email in the chat box, but don't shout it out. And you know what the defense attorney said? Well, let me see, is that STENEK my entire email out? I'm like, okay, the emails are going to come flooding in. So yes.
Judge, I do have an order already prepared. It just doesn't say agreed at top. Would that suffice?
Yes.
Okay.
And what's the name of your client?
It is Eugene Clifton McBee.
Yeah. Did you file it already or no?
We filed it already, yes, Judge.
All right, let me send you to a breakout room with the clerks and see if the clerks have that, because my printer doesn't work anyway. So whenever you send me something, I just forward it to them. So I'm going to send you to breakout room number 4. Could the clerk go to breakout room number 4 with Brendan Lopez, please?
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Let me see where there you are. All right, Adam LaHood on Boyd Clinique.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. So I have tracked down my client. I have tracked down bondsman. They are in touch. I've been in touch with both of them. The last place they held off was they said, let us take a look. We're going to give you a quick call back. That was about 45 minutes ago, 50 minutes ago. It looks like it may have been a misplaced file issue, but Judge, I'm thinking there might be an opportunity for them to withdraw their affidavit or certificate of surrender. I don't want to say for sure we can't speak to them, but we've been actively working on this for the last 2 days.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep it here till 3:30.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you look different. You shaved.
Yeah, I got rid of the goatee.
Okay, I was
Sorry,
like, who is this? This isn't
I'm old
like
as
the Adam
shovel.
LaHood I know.
And my apologies. I'm old as shovel. I came to the office. We had to do some physical work. So, yeah. I'm
No,
not dressed
you look
for
fine. I just didn't recognize you. I'm like, is that Adam? I don't know.
Yeah. Your Honor, if I may, I'm going to log off. If and when we have an answer for you, I will log back on and or email the court and let you know ASAP.
All right, no later than 3:30 though, because they keep asking for us to take care of this.
I know. Yeah, trust me, we're hustling.
Okay, awesome. All right,
Thank you.
Andres, you're welcome. Andres Campion, you're on Borrego.
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor.
And then are you also on Ruiz?
Yes, Luisa Ruiz Gallegos.
Okay, let me find my docketing sheet that's gone missing. Okay. Docketing sheet is no longer back here. All right, have you conferred with the state
On which case?
on either one?
Well,
I mean, they're both 701.
right. I've been conferring with Michelle Hayden on, I believe, both of the cases. On Mr. Borrego's case, the issue was having to do with subpoenas and getting that resolved. I've got an email here from what appears to be the Bexar County Sheriff's Office stating that they will not serve the subpoena without a court order.
All right, could you just give me one moment, please? Everyone, just give me a 5-minute break, just 1 second. All right, Mr. Campion. Okay, sorry
sir.
about that. So which one are we speaking about first?
Well, on Mr. Borrego's case, we had issues with getting a subpoena served out on a corporation in California. They have
All right, Mr. Borrego, I can only see your beard, so you need to lower yourself.
There you go. Sorry.
All right, so what's going on with this?
We've had issues trying to serve a subpoena on a corporation out of California. They have an online portal, but it's exclusively for law enforcement. We have attempted to have Bexar County Sheriff's Office serve that subpoena through the online portal, but they have refused. And according to an email dated this morning from BCSO, they will not do it unless they have a court order issued by a judge.
All right, just give me one moment. I don't understand that,
Neither do I, Your Honor.
so just 1 second. All right, Mr. Campion, I'm going to have the staff attorneys come in because I want to make sure if it is an order that we need. I'm trying to see what's the quickest way we can get this. I still don't understand why they won't serve a subpoena when they should serve a subpoena.
That's my sentiment, Your Honor.
So we're going to find out what's going on and we're going to make it happen.
Okay.
Right. And what I can, yes. So if you could do me a favor, and I'm going to send you and Michael Villarreal to a breakout room with the staff attorney, and I'll be there shortly after I take up a couple of matters here. So you can explain to her specifically what you've been asking for. And if you could give her the document that the sheriff's office sent to you.
Okay, I'll get her contact info so I can forward the emails.
All right, I'm going to send you all to breakout room number 3, and I'll be there shortly.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And Michael Villarreal, if you can go there as well, please. All right, Adam LaHood, you made it back quickly.
Yes, Judge. I have a very quick update for the court, just let you know.
Yes.
I was able to talk to the bondsman, talk to the client. They have an agreement to get back in standing. We understand the court has its obligations. If they're not going to withdraw the affidavit of surety surrender, My client's, she's going to make a payment and they intend to get back on the bond. But I mean, this is the best and most I can do with everything that we have. But we understand and respect the court. They all have deadlines, and but she's in contact. She's in good graces. She's going to bring them a little bit of money on Monday or Tuesday, and then that should solve the issue for the bondsman's point of view.
All right, then can you find out from the bondsman if they want me to, if they want to go forward with this affidavit, or if they want me to wait on the affidavit until Monday? But I'll need something in writing from them to say.
That's the question I'm trying to get them to answer. The person that has to make that call is unavailable. Fernando, I guess the one that's in charge of it all. But that's we're not going to have an answer for the court on that today, I don't think. If something happens, I'll certainly notify y'all ASAP. But from what they said, even if there's a bond forfeiture, I think they're going to be able to get back on it. So hopefully, if she falls out of bad status, we can get her back in good graces pretty quickly.
All right, just give me one moment, Mr. LaHood.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let me ask you this, Mr. LaHood. Were you contacted? Because they're saying that you were notified on January 26th. Were you notified on that date? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Is that better, Judge?
Yes, that is.
There we go. Sorry. Yes, I was. And then that's when we started this contact with the client to get in contact with the bondsman and everything else. We have emails to that effect.
All right, so I can tell you based upon her charges,
Yes, ma'am.
once this goes in the system, they're probably going to pick her up immediately.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you want to see if they're going to file something, if they're going to file something by close of business day, withdrawing it. But the clerks are going to put this in the system probably by 4:30. I don't want to keep them late from their jobs, but 4:30 it'll be in the system.
No, Your Honor, like I said, I know, and we respect that completely. It's, we're behind the eight ball on this thing, and from my end, I'm doing everything I can, but there's only so much that we can do in these situations, sadly.
No, that's true. All right, thank you so much. And if you get something from them sooner, just let the court know.
Yes, ma'am. I have to get on the road. I will text Norma if I hear anything, if that would be okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, everyone, I'm going to go in breakout room number 3. I will be back.
Yes, Judge. Norma. Norma, can you go to breakout room number 3?
All right, Mr. Borrego. We are going to come back on your case on March 3rd. It'll be by Zoom, Mr. Campion. And it's going to be at 2 p.m. So that's when we'll have your hearing to see about whatever subpoenas are needed.
Okay.
All right, and Mr. Campion, he's excused unless you need him to stay on.
No, Your Honor. Does he need to be present for that hearing?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Have a nice day.
Julie, Barbara Paulison hopped in, but if you get in touch with her, she'll tell you about the issue. All right, so next we have Luisa M. Ruiz Gallegos on a motion to set bond.
I think it's also on a modification as well,
Okay.
because the state and I were able to agree on a bond amount.
Okay, and were you all able to agree on the modification?
No, because it concerns family violence, Your Honor. The state was wanting to have a hearing to leave it up to the court. In the motion for modification, we had attached signed sworn affidavits from not only the complainant, but also the other individuals that she would be living with.
Yes.
And let me pull that up.
Let me see if I have the modification bond on that. To the clerks, do you have a modification bond on Ruiz Gallegos? It's CM 092883. I only have the motion to set bond, but not the modifications.
Let me check for a judge. Give me 1 sec.
All right, thank you. And Norma, were you able to get in touch with the attorneys on Clinton Bradley and Aaron Trevino? Or was Trevino completed?
Let me check, Judge. Give me 1 second.
And I apologize for being absent from this morning's hearing, Your Honor. I was stuck in several other courts. One was the 379th, on a sentencing that took about 2.5 hours.
That's okay. We know we're low on your list.
No, Your Honor. Usually I'm like one of the first people to log in, got my name changed and everything on it.
Oh, no, I'm just joking. I understand. I'm imagining with Zoom, it's even worse than before. Even though when I was an attorney, I always thought I could be in 2 places at once. And then I finally said, can't be in 2 places at once, no matter how hard I try.
It's true. But one of the benefits was you always got like a good workout going up and down the
That
stairs.
is so true.
And so that's what I miss the most is the random calories I would burn through the day just by walking up and down the stairs and going to court.
Yeah. All right, so I have the motion to set bond. So what is the agreement on the bond?
We've agreed to 10,000, Your Honor.
Okay.
And that was agreed to with Miss Michelle Hayden.
All right, so I've signed that. And then before I take up the bond modification, because I want to make sure that probation is able to get in and get out. Where is Acevedo is still in the breakout room. Let me see if I can get him to the main room so we can take up his matter very quickly and then take up your modification issue. I think I may have to go in there and ask him to move. Robert, can you go to breakout room number 1 and ask Mr. Acevedo to come out of breakout room number 1, please?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you.
I had one in there, Judge, and he had his computer, or he had his screen black and he wasn't answering me. I was just
Oh.
seeing what he was doing. But that
Okay,
was like 15 minutes ago.
all right, we will see. If he is not there, then we're gonna take up Mr. Campion. All right, his screen is still black, so we'll take up Ruiz then. All right, the court is calling CM 092883, State of Texas versus Luisa Gallegos. Could I have the parties announced for the record for the state,
Michael Villarreal for the state.
for the defense?
Andres Campion for the defense.
All right, and are you Ms. Ruiz? You can unmute. I just hold down the space bar. It's the longest key on the keyboard. Just 1 second. All right, we're off the record. Rebecca, this is just a modification of bond conditions.
Okay, thank
All
you,
right.
Judge.
Sure. All right, are you able to unmute, Ms. Ruiz?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, are you Ms. Ruiz?
Yes, I am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
And from the state.
Any objection from the defense?
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Ruiz, do you have any objection?
No, ma'am.
All right, the court is in receipt of a motion to modify conditions of bond. State, have you had a chance to review the motion?
Very quickly, yes.
All right, are you ready to proceed, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, defense, it's your motion. You may begin.
Thank you, Your Honor. We had filed this motion because as part of the conditions of Ms. Ruiz Gallegos' bond, she has ordered a no contact order with the complainant in the case, Mr. Let me get his proper, Jorge Ruiz Gallegos, which I believe is her brother. And her brother currently lives and resides with her parents in the same house. And the desire of her parents and Miss Ruiz Gallegos herself and her brother is to have her move back home upon her release from custody. They are wanting to be able to keep a close eye on her and help support her as far as being a support network. And with the no contact order, they are prohibited from, or she is prohibited from doing so. In our motion, we had attached sworn affidavits from both her mother, her father, as well as the complainant, stating they're essentially affidavits of non-prosecution, stating that they have no issue with Luisa moving back home. And it would allow them to not only assure the safety of herself, but the community as well, by being that support network for her and being a second, third, fourth set of eyes on her besides just the state and the bond conditions. We are also asking that as part of her bond conditions, which order her to full house arrest GPS, we're asking that the fees be waived on that, and either the GPS condition be removed or be allowed to tracking or partial, so that she may be able to work in the capacity that she is able to, but also so that her family can take her to prenatal visits, because I believe Miss Ruiz Gallegos is currently pregnant.
All right, so defense, this is my concern. The defendant is charged with assault, family choking, strangulation. And I'm looking at the affidavits, and the affidavits are just telling me that people don't want to proceed with the prosecution of the case. But I don't know anything about the alleged facts of the case. I don't know the age of the parents. I don't know if they'll be safe. I don't know the age of the brother. I don't know any of this.
Their ages are on the affidavits, their date of birth.
Okay. So to me, it would be better if they were to come in to testify and give me some more information as far as some assurances to the court that this is not going to happen again, because I'm assuming, because all of these are affidavits of non-prosecution, that they have something to do with the case, and they would be able to talk to me through testimony, and I can be assured that of their safety, because as you know, sometimes the handwritten doesn't give you the full internal meaning. So if I were to rule now, it would be denied. But if you want to reset this, we can reset it for Monday, and I'll take it up first thing on Monday.
I can do that. That I will make that happen. I will coordinate with the family and get them to come into the office, and then we'll have them in the conference room, and they'll be able to testify. Hopefully, each in their individual capacity. The only concern that I have is whether or not the complainant, her brother, would be able to take off work on such short notice to get here. So,
all right. I mean, but it's any date. I'm trying to move it as quickly as possible for
Yes.
your client's benefit. But I mean, it can be whatever date you want it. You know, we're here 9 to 5.
I understand, and I will move with haste as soon as we leave today to try and get those answers, and I can have an email sent to Ms. Ferguson, hopefully before the end of the day, setting the date for.
Okay, and if he wants to, if he's able to Zoom from his work and take a break from work, you know, we've had people Zoom from work. I just require that they not try to work while they're Zooming, that they step away and take a break. So if he's able to do that, the court is open to that as well.
I understand, Your Honor, and I
Right.
appreciate the court's candor, and we will do what we need to do in order to have those witnesses appear.
All right, so I've signed the order, the agreed order for the bond. And then with the modification, just get with Ms. Ferguson and we can have that set as soon as you wish it to be set.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Do you need to speak with Ms. Ruiz?
I can tell her right here, Louisa, we're going to contact your family today and get that sorted out.
Thank you.
And Judge, we will have some just not witnesses, but just some items that we'd like the court to consider when considering the bond conditions, obviously not the amount.
Okay. All right. So if everybody, when you're ready on the date to do that, then we can do that on that date. As I said before, I don't have enough information. If I were to make a decision right now, it would be denying it.
I understand. And what I will do is I will CC Mr. Villarreal on the setting emails with Ms. Ferguson.
All right. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you.
May we be excused, Your Honor?
Yes. Norma, Ms. Ruiz, 13C can go back. All right. Can I have Mr. Small come forward? And who is the prosecutor on Small?
Hey, Judge.
Hi.
Hey, Ryan, sorry. I think I might be the only one left.
No, Michael Villarreal
Well,
is
Mike's
saying,
here.
I'm going to stay here. I'm going to do the team. I'm here for the team. All right. The court is calling 2020 CR 12550, State of Texas versus Leon Aubrey Herman Small. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Ryan Groomer for the state of Texas.
for the defense?
Joseph Acevedo.
And are you Mr. Herman Small?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. The court will note that the defendant is in the courtroom. Any objection to us proceeding by video, state?
None from the state.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Herman Small?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Small, then the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. I'm going to show you a document entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Leon Aubrey Herman Small who was placed on community supervision in 2020 CR 12250 for the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 to 4 grams on June 16, 2021 for a term of 3 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Yes, Judge. Violated condition number 5 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Leon Aubrey Herman Small, did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of August and September 2021 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that, true or not true?
True.
State.
We'd waive the remaining conditions, Your Honor.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
No objection.
Mr. Herman Small, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 5, the court could find it true, grant the motion, sentence you up to 3 years in prison and up to a $1,500 fine? Did you understand?
Ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 5?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violation of condition number 5 true. Is there an agreement?
There is, Judge. We have an agreement that we would ask the court to follow. We'd ask that you deny the MTR to alter and amend Mr. Small's probation for GPS for 90 days. Judge, we said that we would be okay. I believe he has some significant medical issues, and we would be okay with partial GPS, allowing him to go to any medical appointments and or employment if he need be. Gang supervision for 1 year. The drug patch for 6 months. The IOP program. And monthly UAs after the patch. Judge, this also was this is the same recommendation from probation. So the state is making the same recommendation that probation had for Mr. Small.
All right, Mr. Acevedo, is that the agreement?
Subject to court approval, yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Small, are you asking the court to follow that agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the court is going to follow your agreement in part. The court will deny the motion, alter and amend to include GPS for 90 days, waive the GPS fees. The GPS will be partial. You will be allowed to attend all medical appointments, providing proof, of course, of those medical appointments. You'll be allowed to be employed after providing proof of your employment in your schedule. There's to be gang supervision for 1 year, the IOP, patch for 6 months, and that patch is going to be followed by the UA hotline until further notice.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Small, is there anything else that you need from this court in order to be successful?
No, ma'am. I feel like that right there that'll help.
All right, so Mr. Small, here's the thing. From here on out, you know what you should be thinking about? Regardless of your medical treatment, there's a potential, if you do not meet the requirements of your probation, that you could be going to prison for 3 years. And you know, at the prison, they have an infirmary. They'll meet your medical needs there. Do you understand? So
Yes,
whether or not you're in the free world or in prison, those are completely up to your choices. You understand?
yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to send you to a breakout room with probation, and they're going to
Judge, I
go
have
over
one
conditions with you. Yes.
Judge, is there such a thing as special needs supervision in addition to gang supervision? Back July 16 of 2020, he suffered injuries being run over by someone, and he has medical bills in excess of $200,000. I spoke with the state about trying to follow up on possible reopening criminal prosecution against this person and or to try to get him some assistance with victims of crime. But it affected him mentally and has affected him physically. And so I don't know if there's such a thing as also, in addition to the gang supervision, putting him under special supervision.
I think they have, I mean, if it's some mental health issue or some trauma, mental trauma associated with that, he can be, see if he qualifies for the mixed supervision. Is there any other type of supervision available, Ms. Reyes? No.
Not that I can think of, Judge.
So I'll have him evaluated for MIC.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And of course, that's out of custody. And that will be after the gang supervision, Ms. Reyes.
Can
And
the
Ms.
evaluation
Reyes,
happen before?
well, because they're already going to have him on gang supervision. And so I don't think they do gang supervision plus mixed supervision. Do they, Ms. Reyes?
Not to my understanding, Judge.
So it'd have to be one or other. And if they were to evaluate him for the MIC now, then what's going to end up happening, that evaluation, the results of it are going to expire after the gang supervision. And then we're going to have to do it twice.
Okay. Judge, if his employment is out of county, would he be able to have permission to travel for the employment out of town?
Yes, he just needs to provide proof to probation that he's employed and what his schedule is.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you're welcome. All right, Mr. Small, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1. Probation will go over conditions with you. And Mr. Acevedo, you can go to number 1 or either you can be excused.
I'll go to number 1. Thank you.
All right, let me see if I can find you on the screen. Yes, you're in number 1 already.
Okay.
Ms. Ferguson, the only attorneys that we have left are the attorneys on Bradley.
Yes, ma'am, and he's a bug.
Okay. And I see Trevino, that's coming back on March 4th for a jury trial, which we are not having because of the pandemic. All right, everyone, I am going to stop live stream. It has been a great Friday. Fridays are always great. It's the end. Michael's like, maybe not. Hey, you know what? Can it get any better? We're currently alive and we survived Friday. Heidi, have you had a fun time in the court?
I definitely got a little workout.
Okay, so I will tell you this right now. Groomer and Michael, you guys need to stop talking so quickly. So her workout wasn't from me, it was from the rest of y'all.
From us.
All right, so I hope you guys have obtained whatever you need to obtain for Valentine's Day. Brenda, I will tell you, you know what ends up happening when I go to the store, HEB or Walmart or somewhere for Valentine's Day, the actual day, lines are around the corner and it's slim pickings. But if you go there during that time, guess what? 70% off. You can go to HEB and the normal chocolate covered strawberries are, you know, outrageously priced, I think, because what is it? It's a strawberry that somebody dipped in chocolate. You can get those for 70% off. You can get like a dozen for probably like $15. Throwing it out there.
They'll have the Easter stuff already out from.
They will. Oh no, Christmas is already out. Haven't you seen Santa Claus? They have Santa Claus holding the strawberries. But you guys have a great weekend. Be safe. I know they're doing the rodeo. I didn't know that they were having the rodeo already until somebody texted me and said, I'm at the rodeo, I can text. So of course, nobody's doing precautions. Did they even have the cowboy breakfast this year?
It was a drive-through for law enforcement only.
And it was only for like first responder or only in person for first responders or something like that. But the rest of it, I think, has been wide open. I'm pretty sure they're having concerts and all that other stuff this year.
But sure. Are we not first responders? First responders on Zoom? I mean, we are on Zoom and we're the first.
I feel like shots are fired some days for sure.
All right, Norma said, I thought you were going to say all you see is men at HEB. Norma, that is so true. They're the only people waiting to the last minute. And I find it so funny when they're trying to get flowers and all the roses are gone and it's just like, let me get this daisy. Hopefully it means something. And they get the purple daisy that's been dipped in ink. Oh yeah, they do wait till the last minute. But I think I'm gonna get the blame, Norma. That's why people were getting stuff set on Valentine's Day. So, all right, well, guys, be safe out there. I'm gonna stop live stream now and see everybody. I think we're gonna be back on Monday at 9, right, Norman? Let me check the calendar before I
Just
say.
depends on your calendar, Judge. I don't, let me.
Let me see. Yeah, we'll be back at 9.
Right.
On Friday. And let me stop live stream now.